good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to my virtual interactive live. And today's virtual interactive live is going to be financial abuse. Come on in, guys. Come on in. Good morning. Good morning. Says one person is in the live. Good morning. Welcome. Welcome. Thank you for being here. I'm just getting started. How you doing? Kenny Moore, how are you? How are you? You said you're good, I'm good too. How is your morning going?
Oh, hello.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome
Good
to my virtual
morning.
yeah,
Why are you
huh?
all?
Yes. Welcome back to my virtual interactive live. And today's virtual interactive live is going to be financial abuse. And the speaker of the morning will be Miss Deacon Thais Love. Come on in, guys. Welcome, welcome, Miss Love.
Hello, hello. Good morning. So glad to see you all today. Here are some things you can do when your phone's offline. And yeah, I'm just so glad to see you all today. Thank you so much for tuning in on this wonderful Monday morning. Um, just to um, start your week off. And I'm always so happy to be here and to share with you all. And thank you so much for your comments and your questions, your encouragement, and your feedback. Not only on the days that I come on the show, but also all during the week. Um, thank you all so much because it's you guys that make this program what it is. And so I'm just really, really happy to be here. Okay. So I want to um, get right into it. And yes, we're going to be talking about financial abuse when your money hurts. Okay, when you get hurt in your money, that's a deep place to get hurt at. I'm sure you'll agree. Um, some of you all that may have seen the flyer and the questions that were handed out with the flyer, feel free to put your responses to those questions right in the chat, right here. And Ms. Griffith will read out your responses out loud. And I'd like to uh, answer your questions and respond to your responses Uh, that's the favorite part for me of the whole program, is hearing from you all and conversing uh, with you all, hearing your responses, answering your questions, and just, that exchange, that virtual exchange. I really love that part. And so feel free to put your comments in and everything. So hello, hello, hello. Today I want to talk about financial abuse. I have come with a bunch of information, to discuss in light of October being Domestic Violence Awareness Month. Um, all through the month, all through this month, I have been sharing with you all on Mondays different forms of domestic violence. Domestic violence, as you very well know by now, does not only entail physical abuse. There are a number of abuses that happen that is under the category or under the umbrella of domestic violence. And so each Monday that of this month, we've been just exploring all of the different various types of abuse that happen. And some you might have been familiar with, but others you may not have been familiar with. So I just wanted to bring it to your attention and share it with you so that you can do your part. We all can do our part in terms of eradicating or cutting down the abuse. Okay. I want to thank you all that were here with me upon yesterday when we talked about gender equality and inequality in the church. And it was a really, really a great exchange of information. And I really enjoyed talking with you and sharing with you all. I learned so much, and I hope and pray that you all do too. Okay. And so, yeah, we want to get into financial abuse. Now, some people might have heard of financial abuse. Some people haven't. What is financial abuse? How can you get abused financially? I'm glad you asked that question, because it is it's a real abuse. And people go through financial abuse every single day, so much to the point that a lot of people are not even aware that they are involved in a situation where they are financially abused. Also, the financial abuser very often is not aware of some of the things that financial abuse leads to. And so they think they're aware that they're doing it, though. They're aware, financial abuser, but they mean that they might think, oh, it's no real harm done. You know, auntie, she won't mind really. When in fact auntie does mind, and minds very much. But for whatever reason, that's not communicating. So what is financial abuse exactly? Well, financial abuse is another form of emotional abuse, actually, where where a person, it could be a partner, it could be a family member, um, abuses another person by, or the victim, by controlling the other person's access to their financial resources. Okay, so the abuser will control or deny even the victim's access to the victim's financial resources. Okay, um, and what I mean by control or deny access, the victim has financial resources. They may have a bank account. They might have a check. They might have some property. Um, Something financial, though, that the victim has, and they need access to those financial resources in order to support themselves or those people that the victim is responsible for. Okay, what the abuser does is block or prevent or make it very, very difficult for the victim to readily access, let's say, their bank account, or make it difficult or block or remove uh, the victim's access to their property some kind of way. And what the abuser does is uh, remove access to the financial resource and then waits until the victim asks repeatedly, oh, can you give me back my bank card, or I need a check. I need to check cash. I need it cash right now. I'm having financial difficulty. The abuser knows that the victim needs access to their financial resources, whatever it is. And what they do is they will block the access, deny the access, and wait till the victim asks repeatedly, almost begging them. And then after they have begged their abuser, um, the abuser then decides whether or not he's going to grant full access, or it's usually not full access, but some access to the financial resource, or no access at all. Uh, okay, just 1 second. I'm so sorry. Someone is knocking at my door. I don't know why. Hold on 1 second. Excuse me. Oh, thank you. Okay. I'm sorry. That was the FedEx guy. I don't know what he sent me, but that's the package. But anyway, I'm so sorry for all of that. Um, so yes, I was talking about how the financial abuser would then um, go ahead and block the access to the victim in such a way that the victim would be in a position where they have to beg the financial abuser, and then the financial abuser decides whether or not they are going to grant the victim access, um, um, or not. And that's what it is. Okay, and like I said, the financial resource may be a bank account, might be money, or check, or property, some sort of financial resource that the victim um, needs in order to support themselves. Okay, so that's financial abuse. That's the meaning of it. Okay, um, financial abuse happens to men, women, uh, children. It can happen to anyone, actually. Um, and so, but it occurs more often, or it's at least reported. So it looks like it occurs a lot more in seniors, elder adults, where they may have um, a pension check or some sort of money in the bank, and a family member might that might might decide that they want to block access to that check or that money in the bank, so that making it very difficult for that senior to financially support themselves or pay their bills and things of that nature. So that's the definition of financial abuse. The abuse, it comes in there when a person is blocked or denied access to their financial resources, putting them in a position where they have to come to that person, the abuser, in order to get that access. Okay, and the abuser oftentimes will deny the person full access or only allow them partial access, and the abuser, um, who has full access to the financial resource, whatever it is, and the abuser will then, if it's money, take that money and spend it on themselves. Or if it's property, they would utilize for example, if it's an apartment, they would have full access to the apartment and limit the access to that apartment, to that elder, or to their partner, for whatever reason. So that's the definition of financial abuse. Okay. Now, who uh, experiences financial abuse? Like I said earlier, it could be a man, woman, boy, girl, senior, young person. It can happen to anybody, but it happens, or it's most reported often. Well, it's more reported and by seniors. Seniors call in or report that they have been financially abused most often. But seniors are not the only people that experience financial abuse. It's just that they are more likely to report it than other people. Where, what situations occur that you may find financial abuse happening? Okay, what are those examples of situations that financial abuse happens? Okay, as I mentioned, financial abuse often happens to seniors, where they may have a caregiver or a family friend that would handle certain tasks for them or responsibilities for them, assisting them, so that the person is someone that the senior trusts. That's a factor in financial abuse situations. The abuser usually is someone that the victim trusted initially. Okay, so for example, with the senior um, uh, financial abuse situation, it would happen when a senior, trusts a caregiver to, do little errands for them or what have you. Oh, here, take my ATM card. I need you to go to the bank for me. Um, it might be a family member, like a grandchild or something, that comes over and do some cooking or cleaning or fix stuff, or accompanies the elder when they have to do things, run errands or go with them to the bank. So it could be a family member, grandchild, or it could be a friend, someone that your neighbor, or your neighbor's child that you used to babysit or what have you. Um, so in the senior situation, it could be those kind of people. Someone that the senior trusts, okay, or thought that they could trust. Other situations where financial abuse occurs is in a relationship where there's um, a man, woman, and they have children. They might have been married or um, in a long-term relationship where, the couple are parents of, children, or they don't have to be parents, but a lot of times it happens amongst the couples that are in some kind of long-standing relationship of some sort, uh, be it married or live together or just have children together or something like that. But it's a long-standing or some kind of love relationship. And when the relationship is broken, or they no longer uh, love each other like that, um, sometimes financial abuse occurs. Usually, in a amongst a couple, um, the financial abuse occurs when one of the parties involved in the relationship is more financially dependent on the other. Okay, so um, if it's a husband and wife situation, perhaps the wife is um, the primary or the larger income earner, and the husband works as well, but he doesn't make as much money as the wife does, and he needs her income in order, for him to um, be, financially self-sufficient or financially sufficient. Let's put it that way. And so, and there may be children involved as well. And so once that marriage breaks, they go through divorce, or if the two were just in a relationship, and the relationship breaks, the the couple no longer, wants to be together, or one of the parties no longer wants to um, be in that kind of relationship with the other party, but there's children involved. They have to still interact, but not in the same way. Um, Financial abuse can occur, and very often you might find that in a couple where there's children, the party who has the children, who has the full custody of the children, or the children at least lives with that party, they uh, may be in a situation where they have this child support, and one parent pays child support to the other parent, the one that the children actually live with, and there is, the monies are needed, and in a financially abused situation, the parent that pays the child support, they might decide, well, I know you need this money to take care of these children, uh, but I'm not going to readily just give it to you just like that. Um, Even though the law requires that the parent that has to pay the child support, pay it, and the parent may pay it but may not pay it on time, or may not pay it fully, or they'll turn the monies over to the other parent, but under certain conditions. For example, okay, I'll give you the money if you sleep with me, okay? Or I'll give you the money if you let me see my kids. Or I want to spend time with my kids on this date, and I'll give you the money after you let me see my kids or spend time with my kids. Um, the thing about child support, you're supposed to pay it. It is law. Okay, you're supposed to pay it, and it's supposed to be used for the children, and it doesn't even have to be child support. It could be spousal support, where um, it's required by law to be paid, and because it's for the um, financial betterment of the other spouse, or um, for the financial betterment of the children. And so you're supposed to pay it, no questions asked, because it's law, but some people who are in um, a relationship where that, spousal support or child support is required, might find themselves in a financially abusive situation where the person who's supposed to pay um, gives it, but gives it under certain conditions, or doesn't give it all, or doesn't give it, flat out like that. That is a financially abusive situation. Uh, Another a financial abuse can occur between a child and a parent. The parent might receive money for child support, uh, or receive monies for, because at the parent might be in a position where they might be the custodian of the child's inheritance, and that money is uh, slotted for that child, and so it's not really the parent's money, but it's supposed to be for the child. So it might be the money's in escrow or in an account, waiting till the child turns 18, and then the child has access to it. Um, and once the child turns 18, the parent blocks that child's access to that money or the inheritance. That too is child abuse. I mean, excuse me, that too is financial abuse. Financial abuse. Um, if the parent is receiving child support monies or support monies for the financial welfare of the child, and that parent takes that money and instead of spending it on the child, they spend it on themselves or they spend it on somebody else, uh, neglecting the financial needs of the child. That too is financial abuse. Um, Going back to the senior situation, sometimes the senior may have a pension check or a social security check by which they support themselves, and or someone may die and leave, you know, an inheritance or leave a will, um, laying out how they want their financial assets to be distributed. Um, Sometimes, you know, even when there is a will, um, sometimes the person assigned to execute that will may not be in agreement with what the deceased uh, wishes were. And they see the will and they decide, well, I'm going to execute this will, but I'm not going to inform everybody that is involved in the will, you know, what they're what they're supposed to get. I'm going to take some of this for myself. Or um, if the executor of the estate was not even mentioned in the will, or they, you know, didn't get anything, especially if it's a family member or something, they might decide, oh, well, I'm going to help myself with some of this, and pay myself. Uh, that is financial abuse. That and financial abuse is illegal. It is illegal. Um, Also, there may be an expectation from adult children of a senior that, oh, well, I know mom has that house, and mom, she should give that house to me. And then you find out that mom really has intentions on giving the whole house to your sibling or to the to her niece or nephew instead of her child. And that child might feel, that adult child might feel, I'm entitled to this, so I'm going to get that house. And they might, go about seeing what they can do to change the name on the deed, or um, sell the house, um, and benefit from the proceeds of the house. That too is financial abuse. It is illegal. It is illegal. Um, and so those are different situations or examples of financial abuse. Okay. Now, as I stated earlier, a lot of times these things happen all the time. And a lot of times the financial abuser might think, oh, well, it's no real harm done. Nobody has to know. Um, I just, take a little bit for myself, or I'll take the whole thing for myself. Nobody has to know. Um, and so they don't see the harm in it, or they don't realize when they deny access to of the victim to that financial resource, whatever it is, how much harm they inflict on the victim. Well, grandma, she's almost 100 years old. She don't need to have all that money. She can't even spend it all. So I'll just help myself to her pension check. She don't need it. All of her bills and everything else is paid. She don't need that. She's not gonna do anything but just put it in the bank. When she dies, she can't take it with her. Those are the thoughts of a financial abuser. They may not see the harm that they cause right away, and they think, oh well, no one has to know. As long as no one finds out, it's no real harm done. Yeah, and that's a risk that many financial abusers take. Oh well, no one's gonna find out. No harm done. But yeah, people find out. The victim finds out and knows. Okay, you're taking the risk because the victim could readily report you, and you can possibly get arrested. Okay, so but the abuser may feel entitled or feel well, it's no harm really being done. You know, uh, that person doesn't need all of that money. I need it more than they do. Those are the thoughts. In a couple's relationship, where there's where they're parents. One parent, the parent that's responsible for paying the child support might say, well, I need my money. Okay, okay. He or she doesn't, yeah, they got the kids, but they could get their own job and they should, take care of the kids. That's why they have them. Why I have to continue on taking care of the kids financially. Me and that person is not even in a relationship anymore. Why should I do that? Not realizing that you're the parent, you're one of the parents of those children. And even though you're not in a relationship with the other parent, you still have a financial obligation to those children until, in New York State, until they're 21, or if they're in college, until they're 26 years old. You have a financial obligation to those children. Okay. So that's in a couple's relationship, where they are parents. The one that's responsible for the spousal support or the child support might feel like, well, why doesn't that other person get their own money? Why are they taking my money? We're not in a relationship anymore. I don't feel I should have to give them any more money. In the case where there's a parent-child relationship, where the parent is financially abusing the child, taking the child support, and spending it on themselves. The parent may not see it as, abuse. Oh well, your father, he's supposed to take care of you, and when he sends the child support check, yeah, I take care of you. I take care of you. But I need to get my hair done, or I need my nails done, or I need a new outfit, and it's not enough for the both of us. So I decided that I'm going to spend this money on me. I make sure you got clothes over on your back and a roof over your head. I take care of you, but this is my money for me. That's a financial abusive situation, and that's a parent um, and, financially abusing a child. Okay, and then uh, so those are examples. I'm sorry, those are examples of financially abusive situations, um, where the abuser doesn't readily see um, the abuse. They don't see the harm in it. They don't see the detriment, but the victim feels it, stressed out by it, um, really is harmed by it because they have to rely on the abuser oftentimes for any kind of financial assistance or access to their finances. And so they're at the mercy, so to speak, of the abuser. Okay. Um, and like I said, the abuser feels like it's okay to do that because they might feel entitled. They might feel that it's their right or that the victim owes them something, um, or that the victim doesn't deserve this money or access to whatever the financial resource is. And so having that attitude leads them into financial abuse of the other person. So why does financial abuse occur? It occurs when like I said before, when the abuser uh, feels entitled, or the abuser feels like their financial need is greater than the victim's financial need. And so they take the financial resource and use it on themselves. Uh, the abuser might also feel like it just might be flat out being greedy, um, where they are, you know, they might be uh, um, not as, they may not feel that they have enough money to do whatever it is that they need to do on their own. And they're like, oh, well, that person has money. And yeah, I help take care of them. Um, I take them to the doctor. So I should get something for that. And they just out of greed decide, I'm going to go ahead and take this person's money or deny them financial access to their resources, and you know make it so that I have full access to the financial resource. So those are some reasons why it happens. There's a sense of entitlement. It might be uh, 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 the viewpoint that, well, the abuser has a greater need for the financial resource than the victim, or it might just be flat out greed. The abuser sees an opportunity, jumps on it, and they go ahead and commit the offense. Uh, so those are reasons why a financial abuser um, feels like, this is something I should do. Um, And so, what are the what are the implications of financial abuse? What are some of the things that financial abuse causes? What is the impact of financial abuse? Well, glad you asked once again. When there is a financial abusive situation happening and it's reported or the rest of the family finds out about it, it impacts the family in a tremendous way. One of the things that financial abuse causes in families is family discord, arguing, fussing, fighting over whatever the financial resource was. It be a bank account, money, property, inheritance. It causes the family members to get upset with each other, stop speaking, broken family ties and relationships, because the financial abuse had occurred and it was, exposed. Financial abuse leads to distrust. So again, the financial abuser was somebody that the victim originally trusted. Okay, and so and the financial abuser knows that the victim trusts them enough to give them access to the financial resource in the first place. Okay, and it started out okay, and then somehow the trust from the trust of the victim, it changed. The relationship, the trust in the relationship between the victim and the abuser changed. The abuser started acting not trustworthy. The abuser betrays the victim's trust, and breaks the victim's trust when they started doing things that was not to the betterment of the victim. So trust gets broken, always in a financially abusive situation. So broken trust is an impact of financial abuse. So I said family discord, arguments, broken family ties and relations. People stop speaking to relatives because someone in the family might have passed away, and their assets were not distributed properly or were not distributed in the way that the deceased wanted it to go. So due to financial abuse. So financial abuse leads to those different kinds of things. Broken trust, family discord, broken relationships, be it family or otherwise, because of the trust. Once the trust is broken, people don't want to continue to interact with each other. So those are all impacts of financial abuse. Financial abuse also leads to criminal behavior, where you can get arrested. So a lot of times, financial abuser, they uh, misuse the access to the financial resource. They misuse it. So, and they use it illegally. Okay, you they illegally use the financial resource, whatever it is, um, and they use it illegally. So, if the financial resource is a check, the financial abuser may forge the check so that they can cash the check. Forgery is against the law. If it's a bank account, it's not the financial abuser's bank account, but the financial abuser has access to the bank account, so they'll go ahead and use the ATM card and withdraw the monies and spend the monies, or they may write checks against that bank account and withdraw the monies and spend the monies that way. Using that's theft. You're stealing monies that's not yours. That is theft. Depending on how much money it is, it leads to grand larceny, which is, a crime. Forgery of checks, it's a crime. And so financial abuse leads to criminal behavior, of which you can get arrested for. If it's a thing of property, where the financial abuser takes over the victim's property, be it their apartment. A lot of times you see this with seniors. The senior has an apartment and that they are paying rent for, and they got, one or two bedrooms, and they're living by themselves, and then all of a sudden, an adult child or grandchild needs a place to stay, and they come over and they stay a couple of days, and that couple of days turns into weeks, and that weeks turn into months. That family relative is not paying the rent, but they're staying there, and they're staying there in the apartment, and they don't allow the senior to come in and out of the apartment like they want to. They might take over the space in the apartment and just leave the senior, whose apartment it is, leave them only limited space in the apartment. They can only, they have to stay in their bedroom. They don't have access to the living room or the kitchen, or they can't come in and out of the apartment and walk all around the apartment like they used to, because the financial abuser has taken over space and will not allow them to utilize any of the other rooms in the apartment, only the bedroom where they are staying in. That is a financially abusive relationship. That is financial abuse, or where that's an example where the abuser is utilizing the victim's property, and that person, especially if their name is not on the lease of the apartment, that person is a squatter. That person is not paying any rent. Their name's not on the lease. They are a squatter, and that's against the law. And they can, the police can be called and have the person physically removed from the apartment. So that's illegal. They're illegally staying there. Um, so that's an example of more criminal behavior that financial abuse leads to. Okay, where you can get arrested. So, but oftentimes the financial abuser doesn't think about these things. They feel like, well, I won't get caught. I'm not going to tell anyone, and so I'm not going to get caught. So why should I worry about that? And so they don't consider those things because they think that they're not going to get caught. But if you get caught in criminal behavior, yeah, you're going to get arrested, and you will be punished. Okay. So financial abuse can lead to criminal activity and behavior, which you can get arrested for. Okay. So then I went over who is a financial abuser, who can become a financial abuser. It can happen to anybody can be a victim of financial abuse. An abuser can be anybody, family member, friend, caregiver, parent, child. Anyone can be a financial abuser, okay? Because a financial abuser usually is someone that the victim trusts, and the abuser violates that trust. So these are the examples of financial abuse. We went over and discussed who is likely to become financially abused. We also discussed the things that financial abusers use to abuse someone. And so we talked even about the impacts. Now, a lot of times when someone is in a financial abuse situation, the victim is intimidated in such a way that they feel like they can't get out of the financial abusive situation. Okay? The victim is intimidated. They fear the abuser. So a lot of times the victim won't tell or is afraid to report it for fear that the abuser might abuse them further or in other ways. So due to fear, a lot of times the victim is afraid of reporting the financial abuse. Another thing that the victim experiences is that they are being controlled by the abuser. So the victim very often, upon needing the access to whatever the financial resources, they are in a position where they have to beg. They ask the abuser over and over again. They have to beg. Sometimes they have to, the abuser will place certain conditions. Okay, I'll give you the money, but you have to sleep with me. uh, you have to give me half of the money. I'll give you the money, but I'm going to only give you half because you got to pay me. Um, I'll give you access to the apartment, but you can only stay in the back bedroom. You stay in there. That's it. You can't come to the living room. You can't come to the kitchen. You can't, um, unless I give you permission. That's that's the conditions of which the uh, financial abuser will place on the victim. And very often the victim feels that they need the financial abuser in their lives. So they just tolerate it or figure out a way of trying to please the financial abuser so that they can get access to the financial resource, whatever it is. Um, the victim interacts with the financial abuser on a regular basis, um, be it daily, weekly, monthly, but it's a regular basis. So, for example, with baby mama drama, the father of the child might, want to spend time with the child, but the mother of the child is like, no, you got to give me money. You want to see the kid? You got to give me money. Yeah, I got the child support, but you got to give me more money. That's a financially abusive situation. Um, or the, going on the flip side of that, husband and wife, and the husband has been ordered to pay spousal support. And he says, well, I'll give you the money, but I want to come over and drop the money off. And I'll give you the money after you sleep with me. We might be divorced, but you still mine. That's an example. That's financial abuse as well. And that wife, she might she very most likely financially needs that spousal support in order for her to live, and so she will consent to sleeping with him, so she can get the money. So those are different situations where the victim is dependent on the abuser. The victim is afraid of the abuser, intimidated, so they continue on allowing the abuser to abuse them because they don't see a way out of the situation, or they feel that they need the abuser for one reason or another to continue to be in their lives. So that's why they don't, tell right away or report it. But if you or someone that you know is in a financially abusive situation, first thing you have to do is get up the courage to talk to someone about it. It's not right. You do not deserve to be financially abused. It's not your fault. And you have options. With any relationship, you have options. You just have to, you might need help in finding out what those options are or how to explore those options, but you do have options, okay? So that's very important. Get the courage to talk to someone about it. It might be another family member. You might need to call the police. It might be, it could be anyone, but try to find someone. You can even talk to me. Really. I'm here for you. But find someone that you can talk to that can help you gain access to options that will help you end the financial abuse, or those options will help you get out of the financially abusive situation. Okay. Like I said, a lot of times the financial abuser has engaged in illegal activity. So one of the places you can go for help is the police. You can report money stolen, or report I can't get into my apartment, or I'm in the apartment but I can't come out of my room. You know, so you can report it to the police. Try to find a family member or a friend to talk to about it. Social worker, even your doctor. You can report it to your doctor. Your doctor, especially with seniors, he or she is a mandated reporter for elder abuse. Financial abuse is one of the most prevalent forms of elder abuse. And so you can find someone that you can talk to about it, and maybe that person can report it for you, or at least point you in the direction where you can explore different options that will end the financial abuse. Okay, so feel free, I'll be more than happy to talk with you and explore different options to help you if you or someone you know is in a financially abusive situation. You don't have to stay in that situation. You can get out. But yeah, so that is financial abuse. So think about it, and share this video, or talk with people that you know that might be in a situation where they are victims of financial abuse. Okay. Are there any questions or comments?
We have comments, Ms. Love. Ms. Chang said, is there any recourse when an executor steals an inheritance? And then she said, I think spending a child's money on yourself is a form of child abuse as well. And she said, what if
Yes.
you receive public relief, but you do not spend it on your children?
Okay. Let me answer that Ms. Chang's question. Yes, um, there is recourse when someone mishandles an inheritance or steals an inheritance. That has to be reported. Okay. And with matters regarding inheritance and things of that nature, you have to go to surrogate court. Those matters are handled in surrogate court, okay, where you can contest a will. Um, you can uh, let it makes the people at surrogate court aware that you are an heir, because a lot of times what people do, financial abusers do, particularly with regards to inheritance, is they will block or cut off the heirs to the financial resource without the heirs knowing that this is what they're doing. Once the heirs find out, oh, you know, grandma had this for me or auntie had that for me, um, they would have to then go to surrogate court and report it. Um, a lot of people don't know much about surrogate court, but surrogate court is a court that is set up just for those kinds of situations. Okay, so you would have to go to surrogate court, appear at surrogate court. It's not the reporting and involvement with surrogate court is not as difficult as it might sound. But what surrogate court does is they will do an investigation, where they would try to find all of the heirs to whatever the inheritance was, call them in, and everyone will have to prove that they are an heir or they are the person that was mentioned in the will or what have you. And once they do that, then they will also track down the financial abuser and bring them to court. And depending on what it was that the financial abuser had stolen, they would, they would go to jail. They would be forced to return the inheritance to the heirs or the rightful people, and they also, the abuser can then be taken to jail, depending on what the value of the thing that was in that was the financial resource. They can go to jail and spend time. Yes. Um, if the heirs decide that they don't want to press charges, they just want the financial resource or whatever it is that they were entitled to back, okay, then they don't necessarily have to press charges. And the financial abuser would just give back what it is that they stole or what have you, and they go on with their lives. But if the heirs, the people who are supposed to get that inheritance, they report it and then decide they want to press charges, yes, the financial abuser will be penalized, yes, and possibly serve time. So I hope that answers your question, Ms. Chang. And thanks so much for tuning in and for your question. That's a great question. And then you said, Ms. Griffith, there was another comment or a question after that with regards to a parent using or misusing the child support. Could you repeat that?
Okay, 1 second.
These are great questions.
Okay. What about if you receive public relief but do not spend it on your child?
What if you are the
What
deceased.
what about if you receive public relief,
Oh,
but yeah, but you don't spend it on your child, on your children?
oh, I see. Okay. Um, if you receive public assistance, public relief, um, they give you an amount enough for you to spend, to take care of yourself as well as provide for your children. Uh, if you don't provide for your children with it, you are guilty of child neglect. Child neglect. And yes, uh, you can be penalized for that. So when a parent, that's receiving monies, be it public assistance, be it child support, um, be it uh, a bank account that another family member has set aside for that child. The moment those monies that were given to support the child is not used to support the child, that parent is committing neglect, financial neglect. Um, and if it's reported, um, yes, that parent can be penalized. Um, who would report it if the child speaks to another family relative or something like that? That is a form of child abuse. And so that child speaks to a teacher, another family member, um, another family member becomes aware, even when the child doesn't uh, know that that's what their parent is doing to them. Um, any of those people can report the child neglect. They would report it to children's services, and that parent can be penalized for child neglect. Yes, yes. Um, and so, and depending on how severe the neglect is, the child may be removed from that parent's custody, um, as well as that parent can go to jail for child neglect. Yes, yes. Okay. I hope that answers your question. So, what was the next question or comment after that, Miss Griffith? These
Can
are good
financial
questions.
can a financial abuser be a male, a spouse who wants you to pay for their health care insurance, although you are separated?
Can the financial abuser be a spouse? You
Male,
said
be a male spouse who
a male
wants you
spouse.
to pay for their health care insurance, although you are separated.
Okay. Um, you said separated, not
Yeah,
divorced. Am I right?
yeah,
In New York
separated,
State.
separated.
Okay. In New York State, uh, the law is that if you're married to a person, uh, your spouse, you're supposed to cover that spouse's medical insurance if you're married to the person. Now, if you are separated, but not legally separated, meaning it's not in writing, filed in court. You just physically no longer live together. Just because you physically no longer live together under the same roof, that does not mean that you are legally separated. It could very well mean that you are you simply prefer to live under two different households. Okay, so physical separation is not legal separation. Therefore, physical separation, under a physical separation, meaning that you simply live in two different households, you are still married. And yes, that spouse is still financially obligated to the other spouse. And yes, the wife in this situation is still legally, financially obligated to pay for the husband's medical insurance. That's so yes, she is financially obligated still because they're only physically separated. They're still married, but one lives here and the other one lives over there. They're not under, they're married, but they just happen to not be under the same roof. That's separation, but that's not legal separation. You would have to file paperwork, go to court, and file for a legal separation so that it is on record that, okay, I haven't gotten a divorce, but I'm on my way to that. Okay, I'm filing legal separation so that I'm not financially responsible for my spouse. He moved out, he's living with somebody else, whatever. I don't want to be financially responsible for him any longer. So I am filing this document. It is a legal separation. Okay, that's the only way you would get out of that situation. You would have to file a legal separation. And there's a difference between legal separation and you and your spouse agreeing to not be under the same roof. Okay, so what I would say to that person, you're physically separated, go ahead and file for legal separation. Once you have filed for legal separation, the spouses are no longer financially responsible for each other. Okay, so protect yourself. If you're in a physically separated situation, understand you are still legally married in New York State. Okay. If you're not in New York State, then I would tell the person to go and find out what are the laws with regards to separation in your state. When you are married to someone, but you're not living under the same roof. So I would check that to see what the laws are in your state or wherever you are in the world, and see, if you are still legally responsible to that spouse. Some places you are, like in New York, but other places you may not be. So, so if you are, if it turns out you're legally still financially obligated to pay for that man's medical coverage and insurance, then he is not financially abusing you. He is simply asking for what he's entitled to. You then, or the person who is refusing to pay for the medical insurance of that man, is being the financial abuser. Okay, so just check to see what the marital laws are with regards to physical separation and legal separation. Is a physical separation in your wherever you are, is that considered a legal separation? And does that relieve you of financial obligation to your spouse? Check that first. And once you find that out, then you'll find out whether, if you're not obligated to pay, but he's still asking you, then you know he's trying to be a financial abuser. Okay, if you're not obligated to pay. If you are obligated to pay for his insurance, then you are being the financial abuser. Okay, so I would check that to find out if whether or not you're in a financially abusive situation. Again, it's not financial abuse if you are obligated by law to cover that person's insurance. Okay, it's not financial abuse. It's well, if you're obligated, then you are the financial abuser in that situation. Okay, not the husband. Okay, that's a great question. Thank you for that question. What's the next question or comment, Ms. Griffith?
Yes, she said yes, you answered her question, and she said they're going through a course on what I just read out to you. And is the next question is, with seniors, they might not want to report their family member. Also, they may not want to live alone and welcome even abusive relationship.
That is
Mhm.
so true. That is so true. And that's why it happens so often among seniors. Uh, it's reported more often by seniors, but there's so many seniors that don't report it, and they just deal with it, live with it, and eventually die with it. But that is so true. That is so true. They feel like, well, I don't want to live alone. I no longer want to live alone, or I don't trust myself living alone. So I'd rather have this family member stay with me. But yeah, they're taking my money, or they force me to stay, you know, in my room, and I can't, come out and stuff like that. And very often the senior um, decides to just stay in the situation uh, for those reasons. They feel like, well, I can't get out of this situation, or I need that. I need that abuser even though they're abusing me, I need them in my life. It's that thought, that perception that causes it to be an abusive situation. And so very often you find seniors in that situation, they're not going to tell, or they don't want to tell, because they feel like, well, I can handle this. I can deal with it. It's not that bad. But it can get really, really terrible. And while the senior is in that situation and they think that they can handle it, things happen, which causes the situation to escalate and get even more uncomfortable for the senior, to say the least. So, for example, senior might be living, with their grandkid, and the adult grandchild is, they don't do errands for them, and take them to the doctor, go with them to the bank and everything, and they gotta give the adult grandchild, they gotta give them some money for doing that. It's not that bad. I can handle it. I can deal with it. It could be worse. And so the senior, deals with that, and thinks it's not that bad, and that goes on for some time. Then all of a sudden, the senior is going to the doctor or something, or going to the store, and they fall and break a hip. Now, they go and get the hip replacement, but they are off their feet for a while. So they're not as mobile as they were before, and they have no one else to go on errands. They can't even go with the adult grandchild now. They have to trust the adult grandchild to go to the bank for them. So before, the adult grandchild would accompany them at the, to the bank. They still pull out their own money and they do the transaction, but the adult grandchild is with them. Now, they have to trust the adult grandchild, the same one that was financially abusing them, but it wasn't that bad before. Now they have to give that same one their ATM card. So then that adult grandchild now has more direct access to their bank account, whereas before, they only accompanied that senior to the bank, and the senior gave them a couple bucks. Now they have to give the adult grandchild their ATM card and trust that they're going to pull out the right amount of money that the senior needs them to pull out. So the the adult grandchild pulls out that money and then some. Okay, so the financially abusive situation is now escalated because the senior, had a change in their health, a change in their mobility, because they fell and they broke their hip and they have to be, off their feet now. So they have to then rely and depend on their financial abuser even more so. So it makes the situation even worse. So I would encourage seniors that might find themselves in those situations and think, because they can handle it or it's not that bad right now, to really think about, you know, uh, how much longer they want to be in that situation, even though it's not that bad and they can handle it. They should end that situation while they can, okay? Um, because the thing with financial abuse, it only gets worse and worse. The abuser takes more and more. The abuser does not say, okay, I financially abused you enough. Okay, I'm gonna stop. That never happens. That never happens. Okay. If anything, it progresses to be more and more of an abuse, to the point where the financial abuser has now taken everything that the victim has, and the victim has nothing. Okay. So and if the financial abuser is also the person's caregiver, so if uh, the financial abuser is the one that takes care of that senior, you know, physically take care of them, it gets worse. It doesn't get better, it doesn't get easier. That senior winds up with less and less of their own stuff, and the abuser gains more and more of the victim stuff. So um, encourage those seniors that might feel like, oh, well, I need somebody to stay with me, or yeah, I know that they're financially abusing me, but it's not that bad. I can handle it. It's only a little bit. It always gets worse. As time goes on, it gets worse and worse, more and more abusive, and that senior winds up with less and less. And their ability to remove themselves out of that abusive situation uh, becomes less and less as well. So then they have to live with it and eventually die. And especially in the cases where the financial abuser is the elder's caregiver, the financial abuser starts to neglect the elder, the senior. And when I say neglect, I'm talking, they will cut off the food supply of the senior. They won't take them to the doctor on regularly, or help them make all of their appointments so that they can stay on top of their health. The abuser begins to slack and not stay on top of their responsibilities to the victim. And the victim, then their health gets worse and worse. Their mobility gets less and less. They become bedridden and eventually die. And they don't die from the disease or whatever the ailment was readily. They eventually die because of the neglect of the caregiver, who was the financial abuser as well. So those are some things to consider if you're a senior particularly, and you're in a financially abusive situation and you know it. Those are some things to consider. Okay. You'll realize that you don't need that person, your financial abuser, as much as you think. You might need someone to stay with you But get someone to stay with you that you feel comfortable with. Um, Someone that you really can trust. If you know that you're in a financially abusive situation, you already know that you can't trust your abuser any longer. So it's best, even in the long run, to do what you can to remove that person from your life so that you don't, you can end the financial abuse and find another person that you can trust to stay with you. And that person perhaps will stay with you and won't rob you of your money or what have you. So think about those things if you're, particularly if you're a senior um, in that situation. If you are a parent that is knowingly financially abusing a child, your child, understand that yes, um, someone, if someone notices and sees that you are financially neglecting the child, yes, you can become arrested. You can lose custody of the child, and um, that financial abusive situation will end. Okay, you may not want to go to jail behind that or lose custody of your child because of that. So think about that. And if you're the victim, the child, you know, the child might not want to report, that mommy is taking all the money and not taking care of my needs. Yeah, that's really real. And a lot of children or people that are in that situation try to deal with it as best they can and not report it because they don't want to be separated from that parent. They don't want um, to break that relationship. If you are a spouse uh, that's in a financially abusive relationship with your husband or wife, if you are in a boyfriend girlfriend situation, and your girlfriend spent a lot of money on you, and she helps provide for you, um, and you're in that situation where you don't want to break the relationship because of fear. Well, if I report, you know, that she's financially abusing me, then all the good things that she does that I like, she may not do that anymore or want to do that anymore. And I don't want to break the relationship because I like the good things that she does. She just financially abuses me, a lot, but I can handle that because of the good things that she does. It always gets worse. That's the thing about financial abuse. It always gets worse. Whereas, you know, the abuser was stealing uh, a little bit from you, you know, it as time goes on, that little bit gets to much more, much more, and much more until you don't have anything left. So consider that um, consider the cost, really. If you know that you're in a financially abusive situation right now, and you feel like, well, I don't want to totally break the relationship. Think about, weigh your options. Look at all of your options. Find out what options you have, and look at those options, and then make the decision whether you want to continue being in a relationship with that person, even though they're financially abusing you, or not. As I stated earlier in the beginning, financial abuse is a form of emotional abuse. And regardless of how subtle or how severe it is still abuse. And abuse is abuse is abuse. There is still mistreatment there. Okay? And no one deserves to be mistreated in any kind of way, in any kind of relationship. No relationship is worth you suffering mistreatment in any kind of way. There is no such thing as good abuse. Abuse is abuse is abuse. Okay. So I hope that I answered that question. Thank you for that question and comment. Are there any more comments, Ms. Griffith?
Yes, Faith Stover said this is like this. The children cars lean on their houses, their parents' homes. They don't pay their bills and they spend their money on themselves. They don't care, so they put them in a nursing home.
Yes,
Yeah, that is true.
yes, that is very true. And the thing about that is a form of financial abuse as well. The thing about that is when adult children take their parents' money and spend it on themselves, that is classic financial abuse. But the adult children don't see the harm in it. They feel like, well, I'm entitled. That's my mom. That's my dad. You know, they don't need the money as much as I do. They're old. And so that's the mindset. That's the thinking pattern of an adult child that is doing that. But even with knowing what they're doing and continuing on doing it, they also don't think about the risk. The risk is you are engaging in illegal behavior. So if it's reported, if mom, dad, or whomever find out and reports it, you can go to jail. You can go to jail for that. And so why take that risk? It's best to try to, discuss it and, work it out, discuss it with other family members and, see what's best in terms of caring for those elderly parents, and, still, not still take care of them and not neglect them, but also making sure that the finances for everybody is taken care of properly. So you're absolutely right. Thank you for that comment, Sister Stover. It is so true. And then when the adult child puts the parent or a family member, elderly family member in a nursing home, they don't nowadays they don't want to put them in a nursing home because the nursing homes, they require, that income. You have to pay when you put them in the nursing home. So they don't want to put them in the nursing home because the nursing home then takes over the seniors check, be it Social Security or pension. They ask for and require that seniors income statements, and then they, you know, bill that senior, and, require payment. Staying in a nursing home is not free. It's not free. So if that senior has an income of some sort, Social Security, pension, or what have you, the adult child or relative that's trying to put them in a nursing home, they soon find that out. So if they are the ones that's taking that senior's check or what have you, when they try to put that senior in a nursing home, and they find out, oh, the nursing home is going to take the check, then they don't put them in the nursing home. They'll keep them at home, so that they can continue to have access to that senior's finances. Because once you turn them over to the nursing home, you have to sign off on that senior's behalf, sign over their check. And so the financial abuser, won't have access to that senior's money like that. The nursing home will get it. So chances are the financial abuser wouldn't want the senior to go into the nursing home. And that's neglect, especially if they need to be there or they need 24-hour care like that. So that's very true. Thank you for that comment. Any more comments? Question?
No more comments.
No more questions? All right. Well, thank you so much for your interaction and the questions, the comments. Thank you so much, because I hope and pray that something that was said or shared was an encouragement, motivation to help you move forward, to get out of a financial abusive situation, if you're in one, or it something that was said or shared today inspires you to try to help someone else that may be in a financially abusive situation. And so be encouraged. Again, share and like this video. And thank you so much for allowing me to share with regards to that. So if there be no more questions or comments, thank you all again for tuning in. Thank you, Sister Stover, Ms. Chang, and those of you who rendered questions and comments. Thank you so much. And thank you to those of you who are in the background watching and taking it all in. Hopefully one day you will come forth with a question or comment and let us know that you're out there. Okay? But thank you all for tuning in today. I'll be here again upon next week, Sunday, uh, where we will be talking about spiritual bullying. Spiritual bullying. That's the topic for next Sunday. And then I will see you again. Those of you who tune in on Mondays, I will see you again the following Monday, okay, which will be the first Monday. Oh, no, no, no. Wait a minute. Today is the 18th. It'll be the 25th. Yes, yes. And I will come forward uh, with the next topic. The next topic after that. So thank you so much for tuning in and sharing with me and allowing me to share um, this whole month. Thank you for all those that have been tuning in every Monday and every Sunday. Uh, Thank you so much. Tell a friend, like the video, share the video. Again, if you or someone you know is in a financially abusive situation, relationship, you can call me and I will help you or that person get out of that situation. Okay? Um, or you just want to talk. Um, and you need to talk about some things so that you can make a decision with regards to you or that person being in that situation. Feel free to call me. You can call me at Dunamis Sound Mind Services. The telephone number, get a pen and paper, is 718-576-8110. Okay? Feel free to call me. We can talk about it. I can help you. So call me. If you like, you can email me also at dunamissoundmind@gmail.com. That's my email. So you can email me that. Also, you can hit me up on and reach out to me on Facebook. You can find me on Facebook, Dunamis Sound Mind Services. You know, you can call me or set up an appointment and we can talk and try to get you some help or to get out of the financially abusive situation. If you know, you don't feel to talk to me, find someone to talk to. Be it, you know, if you're a child, be it your teacher or another family relative. If you are a senior, you can talk to your doctor. Or if you go to the, if you know have another friend or family member that you can trust, you can talk to them, and they can see about um, helping you. You can also call. Uh, oh my gosh, the the you can call DIFTA, the Department of Senior Services. Okay, DIFTA. You can call them, and they can have a social worker or someone talk to you and help you get out of a financial situation uh, if you're a senior. The Department of Aging also, you can reach out to them and they can help you. So the Department of Senior Services and the Department of Aging, you can call them and they can help you. You can report to elder abuse. Find your local elder abuse hotline because financial abuse is a form of elder abuse. So you can call the elder abuse hotline and report it, or you can simply call the police and report it. Okay. If you are a spouse and you're in that situation, in a financially abusive situation with a spouse, if you are, if you're still married, you you can call the police. You can talk to someone so that to help you decide, whether or not you want to end the marriage or separate. And then I would suggest, especially if you're in New York State, that you file for a legal separation. So you might want to talk to a lawyer, or go to your local Supreme Court, which is the divorce court, and ask questions, find out some information with regards to the marital laws where you are. So those are just different ways to get some help to remedy the situation. If you are the financial abuser, there are places that you can go also to get some help so that you can stop, or try to remedy the situation. Talk to someone first. Find someone you can talk to so that, another family member or someone you can talk to so that you can figure out or find out the best way to end the financial abuse so that you don't wind up going to jail. Okay? So that's all that I have, but thank you so much again for allowing me to share. If that be all, Miss Griffith, make your announcement.
Yeah,
Closing
that is all.
remarks. Okay.
Okay, I want to say thank you to Flo Jana Cheetah, Naomi Gambello, Glamour Queen Raya, Carter Zeke, Faith Stover, Eve Hamazit, and to all those who've been sitting in the background. Thank you all so much for spending
Thank
your
you.
morning with us. And I hope to see you guys back here Sunday at 1 p.m. in the afternoon for more virtual interactive live.
Yes.
And I also want to thank Mrs. Deacon Thais Love for presenting each and every
Thank
Sunday.
you. Thank you so much.
Yes, and I hope you all grasp what she said. Make sure to like, comment, share with someone who can benefit from this information. It's very, very important information that someone can use. If you can't use it yourself, someone can use it. So
yeah, share it.
Yes, don't forget to like, comment, and share, and subscribe to the channel, and keep looking out for more virtual interactive talks Sunday and Monday, and occasionally Thursdays or Fridays. I hope you all have a great day and a blessed week ahead. Happy Monday to all, and enjoy the rest of your day. Happy Monday to you, Miss Deacon Love. Have a great day.
Happy Monday, Miss Griffith. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye, everyone. Take care.
Have a great day. See you all on Sunday.
Yeah, see you Sunday.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.